It is your boy, the nonprofit sector connector. This is a new thing, man. We're doing something fun. I'm calling it Cool Collabs with Tommy D. It's all about my friends in the nonprofit sector and the for-profit sector, where they intertwine, where they connect, where they add value to each other. I'm all about impact and value. I talk about that a lot. How do we make an impact? How are we adding value? When I hang out with my friends in the nonprofit sector, and that doesn't only mean people who lead nonprofit organizations or who work in organizations. It means my friends who work with the nonprofit sector. That's why my friend Kelli and Cerini, who does like 9 different things for all the work we do together, handles marketing for the Long Island Imagine Awards, the New York City Imagine Awards, handles marketing for the Nonprofit Resource Hub, which, yes, I'm one of the founders of that organization, handles marketing for Cerini and Associates, which is the Long Island-based CPA firm focused on working with the nonprofit sector. Ken Cerini founded the Imagine Awards. Kelli and Cerini, as we say, does all that marketing. My friend Eileen Minogue is here with us from Book Fairies. Eileen was on a panel discussion I did yesterday. Eileen's one of those friends too that's like, Tommy D, whatever you need me to do, man, I'm there. Just like, no prep, no nothing. I know you got me, Tommy D, so we'll go together. We'll do this thing. So today, what are we doing? Cool Collabs with Tommy D. Really, it's a conversation with my friends who are in the sector and serve the sector and how that works. One of the stories I go to all the time, Eileen, is the story where Amy Zaslansky connected, founder of Book Fairies, Amy Zaslansky connected with founder of Cerini and Associates, Ken Cerini, on this project that you guys have together. Why am I calling this out right now? Because Kellyanne, with her leadership, has been a big part of bringing 250,000 books through this partnership, which is, yeah, let's clap. I like clap. Let's do that. So let's talk about that. Eileen, first of all, just tell us who you are, what you do at the organization, and then this is going to be casual conversations because it's just cool collabs, man. It's no big deal. So let's talk about that. What is
Very casual.
very
We're
casual?
with Tommy in the attic, so it's all good.
Uh,
I am Eileen Minogue. I'm the executive director for Book Fairies. I've been there for 6 years. We've been in existence for 13. We celebrated our 5 millionth book last year, distributed. And I'm super excited to be a part of the organization and follow through on our founder Amy Zaslansky's, efforts to get books in the hands of our children in need.
Thank you for doing that. Kellyanne, I want to hear this. I mean, that from your perspective, when you think about book fairs and I mentioned 250,000 books. I want to hear from you, Kellyanne, what this looks like through the lens of Cerini and Associates, what it looks like through, well, and you know what? Explain what it is for it, because the billable hour, the whole thing. Tell us that part.
So it allows us to put purpose behind our mission. So our firm believes heavily in education. We do a lot of education for the sector. We do a lot of education internally. So for us, it just makes sense to provide educational opportunities for the community as well, which we do through this partnership with the Book Fairies. So for every billable hour the firm does, we put a book in the hand of a child through our partnership with the Book Fairies, which we love to do. We also have done some book drives. I've been honored to be able to go to 2 or 3 now of the book fairs, which is an incredible experience. I know some of the staff has volunteered there, so there's different ways that we get involved. But for us, it's about feeling good while we're working hard. So every single staff member knows that something good is happening from the work that they're putting in, and it kind of just helps us connect to the community in a more holistic way. So when we do interviewing potential candidates and they hear about the opportunity, it gives them incentive to work with us. We put in our proposals when we're going out for bid on certain jobs. And then there's all these marketing opportunities and collaboration that the Book Fairies helps us with. They are great partners and constantly promoting us. They're sharing videos, they're sharing thank yous, they're always out there talking about this partnership. So for us, it's just a very good mutual amazing relationship.
So cool, so cool. And what I'm hearing there is culture. Vanguard Benefits, we're in the employee benefits business. We're constantly talking with HR departments and leaders of whether it be for-profit or nonprofits. And culture is king, man, or culture is queen, depending on what you like. But that is definitely the royal family culture. It's about benefits, but it's about what does it feel like to be an employee here. And I know 250,000 books. Eileen, that's a huge number. I mean, 5 million is a huge number. I got to tell you, I was there for the 4 millionth book. I did not get to be there for the 5 millionth book being handed out, but I do remember, and you and I will always share this story. That little boy comes up and he didn't finish the book that he took out from the library, and I think he couldn't take it out from the library. I'm gonna get emotional. He couldn't take it out from the library anymore, and we had that book on the table there. It was up here somewhere in like the Glen Cove area. And we gave him that book, and he was like incredibly touched because he didn't get a chance to finish the book. You remember that?
Yeah, I do. You pull me over, you're like, Eileen, I can't even believe that. I go, but he's just one story of so many, one story of one book of 5 million books that are in the hands of children and our neighbors in need. When I think of Cerini and Associates, so I started 6 years ago, right? And that was when our partnership started with Cerini and Associates, right? And we had like no money in the bank, we had no infrastructure, we had one part-time employee. And we were trying to figure out, how do we elevate our mission? How do we create that infrastructure that we need, those roadblocks that we need, and grow? And it was just then when Ken and Kellyanne and the team said, we're going to wrap our arms around you and we're going to support you. And what I love about that is, well, for Cerini and Associates, right, it's $1 for every billable hour they do. If they're doing good, we do good, right? If they're not doing good, they're not committed to something that they feel like, oh, it's weighing us down. This partnership is weighing us down because we're not doing well. And it's really been a very mutually beneficial, like Kellyanne said, partnership, because merging purpose with profit is so important. But for me, that consistent month over month, knowing that Cerini has us, they have us, they care about us. More importantly, they care about our community and getting books in the hands. We're getting that's that sustainable monthly that I can budget things out. And it enabled me to help grow our mission to the point where we now have 7 employees, right? We have money in our bank. We got a brand new van. We're looking for a bigger building. And 250,000 books are in the hands of kids because of that partnership. So I can't speak enough about it. It's not transactional for us at Book Fairies. You talk about culture, but it's not transactional for us. And it's not transactional for Cerini and Associates either, because while they put a book in the hand for every billable dollar, if I need help or advice on this, if their team needs to do a book drive, if we need them to come to do a free book fair, they say, what can we do? How can we help you? Because it's above and beyond that dollar. And on top of that, we become friends, right? It's more than just a dollar. And that's what I want to say. 250,000 books and then some is the gift that they've given us over the last couple of years.
Yeah, and you used the word partnership a couple times there, and that's what I see this as, a partnership. And gang, when I say partnership, I don't mean that as just some throwaway word. Like, these are people that are rowing in the same direction together, thinking about each
Mhm.
other, right? And I'm
Yeah.
sure, I knowing you as well as I do in our friendship for such a long time, I'm sure you think about Sereni and Associates and how you can add value to them, not just in the book drives and them coming to do a day of service, but also in the fact that I'm sure you make connections for them so they can help grow their firm, because the more billable hours they got, that's more books that they're going to give to you all. So it's like, wow, that sounds, you used this word yesterday, so I'm going to totally borrow it. Symbiotic. You used that word when we had a panel discussion just yesterday. And that is so critically important. I'm going to share some pictures. While I share some pictures, Kellyanne, why don't you tell me about this particular day that you all were at, and who the people in these photos are?
Yeah, so that's our team, Erin, Tetta, and Shari. They work heavily in the school districts. So for them, this was super rewarding because they got to actually see some of the students that, are at the schools that they work with. And then Shari from Eileen's team, and obviously Eileen. But this was a free book drive that we had done with them at MLK Junior School, and it was so amazing. So many of the kids wrote us beautiful thank you notes. The kids are just, I can't explain it, because if you think about it, like when I was a kid, I went to the Scholastic Book Fair, and I'm not going to even lie, it was definitely something that I took advantage of, the fact that I was able to go to that. I didn't understand, that other people don't have that opportunity. So these kids come in and they're so kind. They know what books they want. They come with like an idea. They know like what author released new books. I know we had like the new Dogman books, and they all knew that there was like a new book that had come out, and that was the one that they want. And Eileen had 3 boxes of them up there, so that all the kids had the opportunity to get this new book if that's what they wanted. Plus, she had a graphic novels table, which was super cool because each kid got a regular book and then they got a graphic novel. So, but like even the kids, like a few of them went out of their way to, hey, my friend's not in school today. Can I pick out books for her? Or hey, there was three boys, these three incredible boys that helped pick out books for others. They were helping kids who couldn't figure out what books they wanted. They, were helping, like we had books that fell off the table. They were helping put them, they just stayed and helped because they knew how important it was to the other students. So I think that like going to these book drives, like, I don't know, I guess I always knew what the book fairies did, but going there and experiencing what they do is a completely different thing. You leave and you have faith in humanity again. You're I don't even know how to explain it. It's just this incredible feel-good experience. If I could tell every person in the world to do one free book drive, I would, because it just feels so good. And it's like, okay, after that, I'm like, okay, how can I get more books? What can I do? And we try to do our part, but there's always more kids that could have more books. Like, how can you get them 3 books next time instead of 2? You always want to give more.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, I'm so glad we're having this conversation because it really highlights through your lens. I could have Ken on the show. I could have Sherry on the show. We can have this conversation, but through your lens, being so involved in the operations of this relationship, Kellyanne, it speaks volumes to me. No book joke there of volumes of books, or maybe a little book joke, but it just speaks volumes to me. And I hear the passion, and you say, I kind of knew peripherally what Book Fairies did, but in this experiential phase, I'm able to say, wow, this is it. I mean, I want to ask you this. How many people in this country have literacy issues?
Statistics show that 1 in 4 Americans are identified as functionally illiterate. That means that they can't read, anything for understanding. They have troubles. But what I say is that to me equates to 25% of the children that we're serving right now, right? 1 in 4, 24%, 25% of the children that we're serving right now. If we don't get them books, right? We're only one piece of the puzzle, right? We can't solve illiteracy problems with just books, right? But access to books are one of the biggest deterrents from being able to learn how to read. And the mere presence of books in a home, or a teacher who has the number of books that are required, or they say is the appropriate number of books in their classroom, or even worse, here on Long Island and in New York City in the 5 boroughs, there are schools that don't have functional libraries. I'm like shocked when I keep hearing these things. These are the basic needs. During COVID, I was talking to a grantor, and they're like, well, they need food, they need housing. I said, yes, they do. And that's immediate, absolutely. But it's immediate that we get books in the hands of these children, because if we do not, their trajectory is they could be part of that 25% that's on welfare, that's in jail, or worse. So for me, it's definitely a problem for us, that we need to really get these books in the hands of the kids. And that goes back to partnerships. I'm fortunate to be the executive director for Book Fairies, but I'm one little cog in the wheel, right? Like we're an entire team, and that's why we call it Team Cerini. There's some thank you notes that we had and we were like, they're Team Cerini, right? They're behind you. You have an entire team of people that are behind you and want you to learn how to read, and that's it takes a village. I hope long after I'm gone, I hope they don't need us actually, but I hope long after I'm gone, we're still caring about these kids, and we're still getting books in their hands. It's so important.
The ripple effect. I talk a lot about the ripple effect. I just did an episode of Philanthropy and Focus this morning, and the ripple effect. I believe it's infinite, it's endless, it goes on and on and on. And the work you all are doing together is just that ripple. And the more partnerships we can find, the more we can have these types of collaborations, the better it is. I think in terms of yesterday, I was doing an email with you, Eileen, about some folks up here on the North Shore, and we're making this connection behind the scenes and books, and it turns out Sherry was going to be up this way anyway for something else with like a Kiwanis, and I'm with the Kiwanis and the Rotary and all this kind. And it's like, that's what it is, though. That's who we are. We're all connected. So I know you have something coming up. Let's talk about that real quick so people know about it, because we're going to put this out there and push that event. I believe there's going to be a Team Cerini in that event. I wish them the best, because I believe there's going to be a Team Tommy D in that event as well. And I wish them the best, but just a little bit less of the best that my team does. So it is an amazing race. So it is an amazing life. So what's that event coming up? And then I want to hear from Kelli how they're going to get involved.
Yeah, let the competition begin right here and now. It's the flag's on the field, and we start the competition. We're super excited. It is our first in-person event since I've been there in 6 years. It's called the Book Fairies Amazing Race. If you've ever seen the show, you have an idea of what it's about. People will be using their smartphones and their wits to try and solve clues. Once they solve the clue, they're going to find a clue site, and it's being held on Hofstra University. So the clue sites are on Hofstra. Once they get to the clue site, they have to do an activity, varying activities that they have to do there. And then once they get the activity, they go on to their next clue that they've solved. We're asking people, it's very literacy themed. If you are so inclined, if you want to dress as your favorite literacy character, you can do that as well. And there's prizes for best costumes. It's really going to be fun, right? Solve, race, win. People are going to be paying, there's a charge to participate, but more than that, we're asking people to recognize that this is a problem. Access to books is a problem. It's nice to pay $50 and join the event, but we're asking people to create peer-to-peer fundraising pages like you would do if you were walking a walk or doing a marathon, to please engage your circle of influence and let them know about this problem. Many people do not realize that access to books is a problem. So we're asking people to do that and join Cerini and Associates. Lift us up, help us to get the books in the hands of the people that we need to really just change that statistic, change it from 1 in 4 to let's get those numbers down.
Yeah.
And Sereni's actually sponsoring this event on top of their billable dollar donations every month. They have invested sponsorship dollars into our mission. So the gift of Cerini Associates keeps coming. And I know it sounds like a plug and it sounds like it's phony and I'm doing this. It is from my heart when I say we are so grateful to them for everything that they do. And I would challenge any company out there. Of course, we would love it if you joined Book Fairies and did something like this, but I would challenge you to find your passion, to find your nonprofit that you want to invest in, like use Cerini and Associates as an example. Find that nonprofit that you want to invest in and tie it to your business, right? Vanguard, if you're writing a policy, put a book in the hands, I don't know, put a kid on a horse at Horseability,
Yeah.
something like that, and be able to do, find your passion and get behind, take that profit and merge it with purpose and figure out how you can make a difference in this community. There's so much negativity going on in this world that's all we see. But the good outweighs the bad, and the more we lift it up, the more good you hear, the more good you want to do, the more good you're going to see. So that's my soapbox.
I love it. I love it. I'm glad that you borrowed my soapbox because often I'm up on standing on top of that soapbox. So well done. But what, I'm hearing a couple of things, and I want to hear one more thing from Kelli. I'm hearing that that's so on brand. Every time you said something, I was like, that's so on brand. Book Fairies really, of course they're sponsoring this event. Of course they are, because it's so on brand for who they are. Kellyanne just told us it's their mission is about education. Why wouldn't they double down? So gang, I challenge you just like Eileen does. What's so on brand for you? What mission is so important to you? Just this morning, I interviewed 2 guys from the No Matter What Foundation, all about helping people with substance abuse issues, getting them into sober housing, getting them into IOPs, getting them the support they need. That is super on brand for me because I share this with everybody. I'm sober now 14, going on 15 years. That's important to me. What's important to you all? What is the one that you want to connect your name, your brand to? I challenge you all to do that. And I challenge Cerini and Associates to try and beat my team in the amazing race on June 7th, correct? June 7th.
Yep, June 7th, Hofstra University.
What say you, Cerini and Associates?
I'm going to be volunteering that day, so you'll have to go against the team, but I am sure they will give you a run for your money.
Good. Well, I like that. Kelli, anything you want to leave us with, just like an impact about this again?
I think that for us, I guess the tangibility of it too. Like, and I think that I tell this to a lot of nonprofits, make sure that when you're communicating like what a donation is, like communicate the tangible impact that that donation can have. Because if you can put you're connecting people to it, and like, it's understandable. A book in the hand of a child. Like, it is very easy to digest what that means. And I understand that that's not always the case with every single nonprofit, but if you can do that, like Hearts to Homes is another one that I always use as an example. When you go onto their website, you can see how much money it will cost to put a bed in a house, or how much money it'll cost for sheets or a pot and pan or whatever. Just making these donations tangible so that people can understand their impact. It gives people that immediate like feel good, because they're like, okay, I did this. I had that impact. And I know that for our employees, like, they love that feel good, and they love Eileen. I didn't mention this, but Eileen comes to our we have biannual like company meetings, and Eileen comes to them and she talks to the team and she lets them know, because sometimes you can get so in the weeds of working, you forget that there's something good happening from those hours that you're doing. So Eileen serves as a reminder, and it's not transactional. It is to feel good. Like, we're not doing this for any of the, any of this or the credit or anything like that. We're doing it because, it does make us feel good.
Yeah. And listen, a little bit of selfishness and feeling good, right? I always say, oh my God, Tommy D, you're out volunteering. You go there, you do this. Yeah, because it makes me feel really freaking good, everybody. There's my secret. Now, it's out there. So if you're feeling down and you're not feeling great, I say go out there and volunteer and make somebody else's day brighter. It will certainly turn around your mood. Kelli and Cerini, I appreciate, oh my God, you're so great for all the work you do with us and the collaboration and all the support. Eileen, Minogue, I appreciate your friendship so much. I mean, this for me is just it's just a great opportunity that I have to showcase the work that's going on, because I see these things happening and I go, there's an opportunity for me to make more. Let's amplify that. Let's make that message even louder so more people are going to hear about it. I appreciate all you both doing. This is so important that we continue to have these dialogues. This is a new thing, gang. I just made it up the other day. It's called Cool Collabs with Tommy D. We'll do more of it. If you're out there and you are a business professional and or a nonprofit professional and you're doing partnerships like this, again, I love that word partnerships. You're doing this, reach out to me, Tommy D at philanthropyandfocus.com. We'll get you on the show. And as you know, PHOCUS. That's how you spell focus. Make it a great day, everybody. I'll see you all later. Bye now.
Thank you, Tommy.
You're welcome.
Yeah.